Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike, and today we're going to take another look at MEW. This time we're going to take a look at the technical analysis of MEW. What are the different price targets that you can look to accumulate MEW? Where should you be looking to sell? And where is the price action right now? We're going to go through all of that, but it won't be me this time. We have the Oracle looking at the charts for us, the better half of Crypto Warehouse. Now, before I pass you over to Brogan, can I please ask you to like and subscribe to Crypto Warehouse and help us grow the channel? Over to you, Brogan.
Thank you, Mike. There's no dilly-dallying here. Let's get straight into it. So we have MEW up right now. As you can see on the screen, we are on the 4-hour time frame. We have our ranges sorted. We've got 2 ranges today to look at, so quite exciting for MEW. Now, I'm going to quickly look at what we're doing right now, and then I'm going to expand outwards into the high time frames and kind of zoom in like an arrowhead. So currently we are coming down from a high position up here in this range at about 4563. Now, obviously the reason for this was these relatively equal highs over here at the back at as I just mentioned 4563 area. You can see we quickly wicked up above it, exactly printed at it the candle. I'll get the pencil out to show you guys. I'll make that purple. Yeah. So you can see, obviously we came to this line up here, wicked up quickly. If you go to the low time frames, you can see, obviously we bounced off it here, came back down into this order block, came back up again, sweeped it. Obviously this is a general liquidity sweep, and then now we're coming down. So normally in these liquidity sweeps, we kind of start to come down in a negative trend. Obviously, depending on how the market does in general, we're going to see, general negativity or general positivity. But in this, in this regard, for this singular coin, obviously MEW, we're going to be seeing some negativity. You can see consecutive candles. Now, this big candle right here is what's showing me a big promising, obviously depending on if you are bullish or bearish on MEW, showing me some promising, exciting movement very soon. So if I draw it out, it's on the 4-hour, so it will take a bit of time. But you can see here, we do have a nice big fair value gap, which is above equilibrium. And now, this is of importance, I do want to show. Let me bring this up. If we get the 81, so this is a different dealing range. Okay, this is a larger time frame. Obviously, if I go to the daily, you can see it across the entire history of MEW. And you can see, if I go back to the 4-hour, this candle printed its candle body right above the equilibrium line. These 2 red lines are the equilibrium of this dealing range. So you can see both ranges have this candle above equilibrium, which means this is going to be a potentially negative fair value gap, which will follow through. Obviously, if you're above equilibrium, you're looking for things which are going to be negative. So you can see, obviously, we've got that negative. And if we shimmy back a bit on the 4-hour, you can see we've had this order block. Now, interestingly, this is obviously in the dealing ranges. This is in the breaker block territory. Now you can see, if I get the brush out, obviously, to form a breaker block, we have to have an order block. So you can see formed order block, negative, negative, using it as resistance in these areas. And then what happened is, as we, came back from testing in equilibrium, not only on the 27, but on the 81, you can see, if I just show the equilibrium of 81, these 2 red lines, you can see we came into it and now we're coming back out again. Obviously coming back in it again, so we're still fighting this equilibrium range. So within these dealing ranges, you've got 3 periods. You've got the premium area, where you've got this huge range above you. You've got equilibrium, which is kind of like the no man's land of the battle. And then obviously you've got discount. So currently we're kind of fighting within equilibrium. We're trying to get out on the higher end of things. We've already tested below a couple times. So we can clearly see we've had more success above than below. So I do expect retracement. However, we do have, number 1, this sweep of liquidity right here, which is not going to help us at all in terms of coming upwards. This is going to change our sentiment to come down again. We've also got this fair value gap in the order block, which is just a big whole load of difficulty for us to try and get back upwards. And additionally, we have these big lows down here. Not only do we have these rejection blocks, and with price, I always talk about this on my streams, price is fractal, which means you can draw these ranges, and the TA you do can cascade downwards on the time frames. So you can draw dealing ranges, or these specific dealing ranges I draw. Get this bigger, there we go. You can draw these dealing ranges within the premium and discount and equilibrium, which basically means we've got a big or a small, tiny little dealing range within here. Now, on the higher, the extreme highs and extreme lows of the ranges, you have rejection block area, which means to us is when you form a rejection block which comes into these areas of high and low, it basically says to us these are going to be valid rejection blocks. So what this is telling me is these lows down here are going to be very strong to keep us above. Additionally as well, the midpoint is on the direct center of, or the direct end of the equilibrium, which is, again, more positivity for us in terms of if we were to come to these areas, I'm confident, or pretty confident to say that this is a good area of support. And again, also, if I bring up maybe the 27 again, bring up 27 on the lower time frame. We've also got these other lows. See down here, multiple rejection blocks we've already come into. So what could potentially happen is we might have, already used that rejection block and invalidated it. But again, we have this rejection block. So what I could see happening is, we're slowly coming down. We either bounce off the top of equilibrium, come back onto the fair value gap where the order block is as well, use it as resistance, and then continue downwards into equilibrium. Coming down here, sweeping this low, wicking into rejection block, using it as support, and then continuing back upwards is what I can see. Because again, looking at our general trend, obviously we've got an uptrend currently right now. You can see low here, or maybe starting from here, you can see low here, equal highs, showing some sentiment change, higher low, higher low, higher low. So what we need to see is basically, we've broken this high as well, which is a good sign on the higher time frame of things. Because again, if we zoom out on this period, we are also in uptrend. We then sweep this low, which isn't very good, and then we're obviously having difficulty, but we're slightly coming back up. So what I could expect is price trying to come back up into these areas to see if we're going to be able to get back up and get back into these prices we were previously at. Now also you can probably argue there is also a double bottom as well, relative low here between these two areas at 3403 and 3688. So relatively equal lows here, which is obviously a good sign to suggest to us. So again, this means to us we should break above 5, 9 or 6 basically. If we break above that, that is the neckline of the double bottom, which should suggest to us we should then proceed all the way back up to our previous prices above here. So this is not only is it going to be double bottom, it's also going to be a change of trend coming upwards. So we do want to obviously keep an eye out for that. The last thing I will do is I will shimmy onto the 81 and give some higher time frame TA, because I've just given this. I should probably give some prices actually. I'm thinking 3850. Actually, let me draw a path tool so I can really show it. So I'm thinking, obviously I'm on the 81. Let me go 27 because we're on the lower time frames. I'm thinking we're coming down to this equilibrium here. We could bounce off this rough area, maybe come back upwards towards fair value gap, maybe consequent encroachment. We've got a relatively decent order block here, maybe come to this midpoint at 4371, and then continue downwards for a lower high, down into equilibrium, potentially sweeping this and wicking down maybe to these. You can see there's equal lows down here roughly. It's horrible. Let me change that. You can see there's relatively equal lows here, especially with this wick, these wicks here. So maybe coming down to that area at 3884. That would then give us a support area at rejection block. That would then fulfill that rejection block. We'd also be sweeping this low down here before we came up, which is really good. Because again, considering the response off of this price point, you can see this was our low. Obviously, we had multiple lows here, but then obviously bouncing off here, low here, and then we broke all the way up, had these big candles. So this is obviously going to be a good position where there's going to be potentially a lot of trades happening. Where if the ideology of sweeping all the liquidity sweeps is there's going to be stop losses at these lows where we could potentially sweep if trades haven't been gotten out of already. So considering the response off this move, this is a big move. So that considers to me that this is going to be a good sweep response back upwards. You know what I'm saying? So or a good sweep of liquidity anyway. So I'm reckoning, or I'm thinking anyway, that we're going to be sweeping this, coming down into here, and then coming back upwards for another wick down equilibrium. And I think we should eventually start to come out, because this is promising, breaking back above these lines. But importantly, these lines, these two blue lines closest to equilibrium, are the equilibrium of 81. And if we zoom out more, the next lines, which are these blue ones, are going to be the equilibrium of the higher dealing ranges. So we do have to bear that in mind as it cascades upwards, because again, price is fractal, it cascades upwards in terms of the way price reacts to these lines basically. So we do need to bear that in mind, that you can see we wicked to this, which is promising for the next equilibrium. So we can still see we have good responses off these lines. And you can see here we use it as support, great. We use this range, great. generally just using these lines as good support, especially this one, because again, what did I just say? These two blue lines closest to equilibrium is the next step up dealing range equilibrium. So like I just said, 27 going to the 81 is equilibrium. So this is going to be a considerable area on the higher time frames you need to break above. So you can see obviously really great usage here, great usage over here, coming back over here, good usage, obviously wicking down now. So the last thing I said before I take it back to Mike is I want to go to the daily and quickly have a little look on the 81, just seeing what's going on, in the high time frames and seeing what we're doing. So you can see had our structure doing our thing here, fighting at equilibrium again. See bounce there, bounce below, resistance, bounce up, support, resistance. So good fighting at equilibrium. We're doing the same thing. Now what happened? Obviously you can see fighting at equilibrium came up, fighting at equilibrium came up, fighting at equilibrium came up. Obviously we flipped below then because of the higher, again, well I'll just say, higher dealing ranges have the equilibrium expanded one line outwards. So you can see we are also fighting at these lines here very, very nicely. But again, you start to get to a point where the equilibriums get too big and the dealing ranges get too large, whether you don't really use them. But that also means, like I just said, that each and every line in these dealing ranges matter. Again, going back, we are having good fights at these areas. This is general equilibrium points. So this whole circle is going to be equilibrium. And again, you can see we've come into the area, come up, come into the area, come up, come into the area, come up. And again, each and every high, because obviously this was kind of finding where our price was. Obviously, this was immediately starting the coin. So this, you don't count this. This is the response of the price. You can see dealing range, bang. This is what I'm thinking. We're eventually going to come to this purple line, which is expansion, which basically means we go to the next dealing range. So I'm thinking we eventually sweep these highs up here. Obviously, this is going to be rejection block all the way up here because again, what did I say? These between this orange line and this blue line is where rejection blocks form. So all these lines here, between 8 basically and 8.6 towards 9 is going to be good resistance, which makes sense. So I reckon we're going to put a higher high in on the higher time frame that is. So I eventually think we're going to be coming up. And again, what's happening in the market in general? I think Bitcoin's going to be going up very, very soon. Obviously within October time, September the 20th, that point onwards. Same with the entire market. So I think that could definitely happen. You can see if we roughly kind of guesstimate it, you see double bottom coming upwards. You can see 22nd September breaking out of equilibrium, coming upwards towards this area. This is coming into October time if you just draw a random line. A bit random anyway. You can see October time we are coming upwards anyway. So I could definitely expect. And again, Bitcoin's going to be putting in a higher high as well. Or the highest high, 85k at least, is what I think anyway. So I think we're definitely going to be having some highs here. I definitely think we're going to be coming back up to these highs, possibly touching this line for a range expansion, and just generally coming upwards in MEW in general. But always bearing in mind for trading, in this period for MEW, we are in equilibrium. We're in a difficult time right now. But again, every single response off of this equilibrium has been positive, coming back upwards for a higher high. So I think, again, 3 makes a charm. I think, or 3 makes a pattern. Anyway, it's a charm. But I think we're definitely going to be coming up again towards this purple line to have a range expansion and a higher high. So I think that's pretty much it for the MEWTA. Hopefully, I'm very positive about this coin. Obviously, we are powered by MEW. Obviously, if you are on my streams, I have it in the top right-hand corner of the stream every stream I do. So I've yapped. Thank you for listening to my CA. Hopefully, it is useful. Obviously, none of this is financial advice at all. This is my personal opinion. Do make sure if you trade off anything I said today, make sure it's off your own back and your own data. I think that's about it for me. So back to Mike.
So there we have it, very bullish on MEW. We should be looking to break up to recent all-time highs in the coming weeks, especially if Bitcoin goes back towards $65,000 to $75,000. Remember, MEW is one of our 3 picks for the bull run. We are looking at Popcat, we are looking at Brett, and we are looking at MEW as coins that could potentially do a 10x in this bull run. If that's the case, buying now, buying next week, or buying the week after will make no difference because we expect a 10x on MEW in the coming 12 months. Thank you once again for watching this video to the end. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Crypto Warehouse. Until the next video, you have been great. I have been Mike. Adios.